Namaskar friends, I welcome you all to the digital media of Uday India. Friends, on Bharatiyata ka Sankanad, today I am going to speak about the historic judgment of Supreme Court of India on Kashmir. You all know that on 11th December 2023, the Apex Court of India delivered its historic judgment upholding the government's abrogation of Article 370 that granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir. The judgment was complex and nuanced, addressing a multitude of legal arguments and constitutional provisions. Now, I will tell you some of the key points articulated by the court in its 700-word judgment. First is constitutional validity of the abrogation. The court upheld the presidential orders issued on 5th August and 6th August 2029 that effectively revoked Article 370 special provisions. The court rejected arguments that the abrogation was unconstitutional, citing President's power under Article 373 to issue such orders with the concurrence of the government of the state. The court also clarified that while Article 371b stipulated the recommendation of the Constituent Assembly of the abrogation's effectiveness, it did not restrict Parliament's power to amend the Constitution. The court relied on the 1954 presidential order that applied the Constitution of India to Jammu and Kashmir, thereby laying the legal groundwork for Parliament's subsequent actions. Second is procedural legality of the abrogation. The court acknowledged concerns regarding the suddenness and secrecy surrounding the abrogation, but refrained from commenting on the political aspect of the decision. The court focused on the procedural legality, examining whether the government followed the prescribed constitutional steps. The court found that the President had acted within his powers under Article 370 bracket में 373 and that the presidential order were duly signed and published. Next is third point is reorganization of Jammu and Kashmir. The court upheld the creation of two union territories, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, through the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act 2019. The court recognized the legislative competence of the Parliament to reorganize states and territories under Article 3. However, the court also directed the government to conduct fresh elections in the newly found Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir by September 30th, 2024 to ensure democratic representation. Fourth point is right to property and special provisions. The court acknowledged the concerns of the residents regarding the protections of their property rights, particularly in the context of land ownership. The court emphasized that the abrogation of Article 370 doesn't affect the existing property rights and assured that the fundamental rights of all citizens would be protected. The court noted that the special provisions previously enjoyed by permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir might undergo modifications under the new legal framework. Fifth point is future developments and monitoring. The court recognized the need for reconciliation and development in Jammu and Kashmir. The court urged the government to take concrete steps for the welfare of the people that includes economic development, infrastructure development and the restoration of peace and normalcy. So the court directed the government to submit periodic reports on the progress of implementation and impact of abrogation on the lives of the people in Jammu and Kashmir. Finally, I give my concluding remarks on the judgment. The Supreme Court's judgment on the abrogation of Article 370 is really a landmark decision with far-reaching implications for the future of Jammu and Kashmir. While upholding the government's actions, the court also placed certain conditions and emphasized the importance of democratic representation and protection of fundamental rights. The full implementation of the judgment and its long-term impact remain to be seen, requiring continued monitoring and evaluation by all stakeholders. Now, I herewith remind you something. In the last almost 1 decade, do you know, the Congress has so far gone against the Modi government to the Supreme Court on ED, GST, CAA, CBI, EVMs, PMLA, UAPA, Aadhaar, Pegasus, Ram Mandir, Rafale deal, Article 370, Triple Talaq, Gujarat riots, Central Vista, PM Care Fund, demonetization, new parliament, and lost all of them. I don't understand why the Congress is against everything this country stands for. Abrogation of 370 was long overdue, but vote bank politics by the Congress has made a mountain out of a molehill. Just like that, every issue for which it has gone to courts has fallen flat and rejected by courts. Now, don't you think it is just a waste of the court's precious time? Already crores of court cases are pending, but Congress is hell-bent on making mockery of not only courts or judicial system but also of itself. It is high time now people threw these khangris out of the park. One of the main pledges made by the Congress to win over voters in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh was the old pension scheme or OPS. However, despite promising greater pensions for public servants, the grand old party not only lost these elections, but the only state that it did win, Telangana, was the state where it did not promise OPS. The fact that OPS failed in the 3 states where it was either promised or implemented already demonstrates that the scheme has never been and will never be a vote catcher. Following the Congress' first announcement that it needed to reinstate OPS in states it controlled, the Bharatiya Janata Party, the Congress engaged in a continuous discussions on the financial implications of this proposal with numerous BJP central leaders openly opposing it. The triumph of BJP in the Hindi heartland seems to have validated its choice to omit OPS from its pre-election manifesto. Additionally, this may allow the central government additional discretion in its ongoing assessment of the new pension schemes or the NPS. The story of OPS ability to influence electoral mandates becomes so compelling that the media reports early in the year said BJP was up against stiff opposition from its own leaders and supporters in some states where elections were imminent to revive the program. However, the OPS, caste census, right to health and urban job guarantee program have all beaten the dust in these elections. Voters are far wiser than that and they want a government free from corruption that upholds law and order and actually advances the economy. Reverting to OPS during a time when state budgets were improving and the economic effects of the epidemic were abating was viewed by many as financially reckless. Although OPS would result in a short-term reduction in state spending, long-term expenditures would be enormous due to pensions being index-linked to salaries. The Indian Central Bank stated in September's monthly bulletin that a move by the state governments from NPS to OPS would be fiscally unsustainable and represent a major step backwards, while going back to OPS may seem advantageous for states in near term. The RBI bulletin article cautioned these benefits would be outweighed by the scheme's long term cost. The debate around OPS and NPS may go on, but why we are talking about this issue today is somewhat disturbing. What we will be telling you today is not confirmed as yet, but the truth is, and will come out in a day or two. Sources have revealed that Congress scammed government employees in the name of old pension scheme in Rajasthan. Congress government in Rajasthan announced OPS in January 2022 and deducted MPS share in their salary for 3 months. Now, instead of depositing that money, a sum of around 1000 crore to NSDL fund or GPF accounts, they deposited it in the state general fund and used that money. They even stopped depositing the government's NPS share to NSDL, which was around 641 crore. Reportedly, the Congress government used this money for freebies. This is how Congress looted Rajasthan. Now think of states where OPS has been implemented or are in process. How much money will be looted? You are witnessing Congress leader Dheeraj Sau's chest of money in Jharkhand. Do you think that Congress believes in an honest government for Indian people? The opposition's failure to deliver on its promises, whether they were farm debt relief or OPS, contributed to their defeat in the Hindi heartland. People want welfare, but it never works to make promises you don't intend to keep. And Congress has been making moonshot promises but has not followed it through. It is up to you now whether you believe in false promises of Congress or believe in making a new India which should be at par with global standards. That's all for today. Stay tuned with Uday India, and I will again request you to subscribe Uday India. Bharat Mata Ki Jai.